Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Battlecry or die.
Da 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 da.
You still
That's
need
coming.
music. Still need metal.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
You
I
heard it here, folks.
talked to a studio guy. So we're gonna get that under the works. I'm pretty excited though. Cool. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another D&D episode brought to you by Battlecry or Die. We apologize for the absenteeism. There was like a wedding last weekend that I had to participate in, and then Friday night was the rehearsal dinner, and then Saturday was the wedding, and then Sunday I was indisposed. So unfortunately, we weren't able to play last weekend. However, we are back, and hopefully back in the swing of things as well. I recall very well what happened the last game. I guess you'll find out, won't you?
So, Roland, you got syphilis, right? Yeah.
Disadvantage. That's what syphilis does for you. It causes disadvantage on all your Constitution saving throws.
I know.
Okay, so if for everybody watching or anybody who's watching, right, the series of events that have taken place here recently in game, our party had reached the Harper's headquarters in Waterdeep. This is like their primary base of operations, whatever. This is kind of like the hideout where things go down, and it's a pretty secretive location. Hidden very well behind this cabinet that kind of has like this sliding shelf thing that kind of goes in front of it, where a bunch of like various liquors and wine bottles and things set, so as to give the appearance of just being a normal like tavern bar type situation when you walk in, but with some hidden intent. Anyway, so our party had made it to there. And two of our party members, having decided that they didn't need to rest for the evening, decided to go out looking for a fight, right? So this is just kind of catch everybody up. Went and decided to go around to or find a tavern to participate in a fight, to win some money, potentially. Upon entering the particular, the White Bull is what it's called, tavern, upon entering it, discovered one of our party's old school rivals, who had at one time left him a paralytic. And this rival not only being in the tavern to cause him some distress, but also finding out that this particular rival was in possession of that party member's dog. So this just basically, set the stage. This was like, okay, we're going to fight this guy. So Atlas and Roland are in there. Atlas decides that, he wants to fight. Roland then places a bet. And after having discovered that this particular character is a career fighter, and having lost to him in hand-to-hand combat, our party then decided to attempt to divert the costs of the bet loss or whatever. And so with that, a battle ensued. And in and among the battle, there was revealed another non-player character, unexpected, that happened to be in the tavern and watching, but invisible. Upon his revelation, or the revealing of that character, of said character, a even larger battle ensued, and essentially the tavern was burnt to the ground. So Roland has made his way back to the hideout silently to grab payment that he then wanted to carry over to the Stoneflower shop, so that he could purchase a particular item. Mind you, he's doing this in the dead of night. Atlas has gone with the with some of the city guardsmen to talk to the captain of the guard in regards to the event that took place in the tavern, the White Bull Tavern. And fast forward a few hours later, Ricard and Skadric, having awoken the next morning, realizing that some of their party had not returned from the night before, decided that they would have a bath, gather their accoutrements, and head to retrieve Skadric's bird that he has been in the process of training, the bird named Wint. And so the bird, known to the party to be currently existing at the warehouse of Atlas's parents, that warehouse being one of mass bred production that is then distributed throughout Waterdeep. So that's where we left off. That's kind of to catch everybody up for the last couple sessions. That's what's happened. So anybody in Twitch, you guys can kind of know where we are and what exactly is going on. So, Roland, would you mind muting yourself real quick, sir? Ron, can you shoot him a text message or something and be like, hey, man, mute your microphone? And I'm going to keep talking, too, so as to mask some of his conversation there. Hopefully nobody picked up anything personal. Okay, so.
I was going to say, you could just mute him.
Yeah, I'll mute him
your
on
side.
here.
Yeah.
Cool, okay. Very good. Okay. So, that being said, Ricard and Skadric, you received the items that you had requested, the 2 pair of the Sending Stones and the Hat of Disguise. Those have arrived to you. You were able to don your Hat of Disguise and wait the appropriate amount of time for attunement before wandering off into the city. So that's where we're going to pick up. So your guys' first intent is to make your way over to the warehouse to retrieve Wint. Is there anything that you would like to do between your point of origin, your destination, and where would you guys like to go from your destination?
I would like to verify if in my pack is still what the small the vial of or flask of venom. I believe it. What was it? Purple worm
Yes,
is still there.
it is.
Okay.
It is in
And
fact.
pop it open. Is it still like before we leave out? Before we leave
Sure.
the confines of safety, I'd like to verify it's there. That
Right.
there is still liquid that appears to be the correct liquid in it.
Yes, everything seems to be untampered with. In fact, it almost, after rummaging through all of your things and kind of verifying the status of your personal effects that you guys had retrieved from that hidden room in the, we'll call it the council chamber, that was attached to the council mansion residence, etc. So after having gone through all of your things or whatever, it is bearing the appearance as if it was simply put there for storage purposes,
Okay.
and the seemingly the intent of it being placed in there was for temporary storage, so that somebody could then go through the things later, and just had not yet gotten the opportunity to do so.
Got you. I would like to test if I can summon my sword that stays in my right hand and my wand from the bag of holding. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So,
Give me 10 seconds.
okay.
In the meantime, Skadric, is there anything that you would like to do first thing before Skadric? Oh yeah.
No, I think I'm okay. I'm just gonna head that way to get one. But I'll hold back for Ricard while he's doing his things.
Oh, of course. Okay. Da, 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 da. That's not. So it is here. I'm trying to remember where that originally came from.
What's that?
That weapon summoning. If that was a result of.
That's
The Eldritch
last
Knight.
feature of Eldritch Knight.
Right.
You can pick one up to 2 weapons, one for each hand.
Right. You 2 bonded weapons.
Yeah, 2 bonded weapons, and summon them from anywhere.
Right.
I think it says from
Yeah.
anywhere. I don't think it
You
limits.
can have up to 2 bonded weapons, but can summon only one at a time with your
Yes.
bonus action.
Correct.
You must, if you bond a third, you must break the bond with one of the others.
It just says so long as it's on the same plane of existence.
Is it same plane? So in theory,
Yeah, it's a material
not-
plane.
well, yeah, but would it work from a bag of holding? Because that creates a pocket dimension.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what I wanted to test.
Gotcha. Okay, so in that case, when you attempt to summon your weapons from the bag of holding, unfortunately, nothing
Does not
happens.
work. Okay, there we go. That was it. Just a simple, theoretical test to see if I could do it.
Sure.
And that might be something I spend time studying at a later date.
Cool. Okay.
So Scodrick, you see me kind of put my rapier that I normally wield in my right hand in the bag of holding, and I kind of hold my hand out, and dang it, I pull it back out, put it in its sheath.
Play with some fine arts, don't you?
Well, normally I can do this, and I hold my hand out, and the rapier just goes from in the sheath, pops in my hand. So normally I can do that, and it'd be really neat if I could do it from hidden places that are not accessible. Apparently, the interference of the bag of holding prevents me from summoning it. Maybe it's something I can work on when I have more time to study, but not now. So I swap that rapier to my. Take it and dip the tip in the vial in the flask, and put it in my left side, which
Okay.
would be my offhand, and then I put the one in my offhand in place of the sheath on my right, and I go, okay, I guess I'm ready to go.
Cool.
And that's all that I wanted to do. Got the hat of disguise on, so now I look,
Okay.
I don't know, like somebody that's not me.
Okay. And so,
Russell
and again,
Crowe. There we go. I look like Russell Crowe.
there you go, ladies. You heard
Not
it here.
like old Russell Crowe. I mean like Russell Crowe from The Gladiator.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. And so between the Harper's headquarters and the warehouse, was there anything that you guys wanted to, any like little side things or whatever that you guys wanted to do?
I don't. There's some things I'd like to do, and I kind of tell Scodrick this. There's some stuff I'd like to do, but I feel like it's really important for you to get your bird back. That's if I was separated.
Yeah, it feels kind of weird in this
Yeah.
long.
Okay, guys, my wife has just gotten home.
Okay.
So apologies for interrupting the game, but if you guys will give me just a few minutes, let me go in, make sure she gets settled in and everything, and I will be back in just a moment.
You're good. Yeah, I guess the thing with the pocket dimension didn't work because of the it being in a different dimension.
Yeah.
That's my theory behind it, at least.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of thought as well. I figured I'd instead of just assuming that, try it out, see what happens.
Yeah.
Well,
Is anybody getting one of the new consoles when they come out?
Not day one. No.
I would like to have gotten a PS4, but you know how that
Or
goes.
PS5?
Yeah, that.
I'm like still getting used to saying PS4, by the way.
You mean PS5?
I mean, I've had one. I just mean even the PS4.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm still getting used to that, even though I've had mine for such a long time, because I said PlayStation 3 for years and years and years. But, so getting used to the saying PS5 is like another whole thing. Godfall looks pretty cool. Y'all seen footage for that?
I've seen like a little bit. Ron, or just all you guys actually. The reason I just kind of stepped away for a minute there.
Does the
Brandon
crowd need to
called
hear
me.
this? Does he? Well, I'll,
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to, play an operation with a sleeping baby pulling her out of a car seat. That's pretty super fun. A little bit time consuming, but also super cute. Cool. Okay. So Atlas, you're sitting in the interrogation room, essentially, or this room that kind of bears the appearance of an interrogation room. So it's a single room. It's a room with a single table in it, with a chair on either side of the table, opposite each other, opposite sides of the table, whatever, with a single door. The door has no locking mechanism on it except for it's one of those barred latches, and that barred latch is on the outside of the door. So you're led into that room by the city guard. He pulls out one of the chairs for you, beckons you to have a seat, and that the captain of the guard will be with you momentarily. He then leaves the room. When he leaves the room, you hear the sliding of wood on wood and then a clunk on the outside of the door.
I was gonna ask if I could bring my dog in here and my other pet. But I guess at this point, I'm just talking through the wall.
Well, so that would probably be something that, because the metallic thing would have been following you, and I guess would you have carried your dog, or would you have been like pulling it
I tied
along
the
with a
dog.
leash?
I tied the dog to the steel defender.
Yeah, that I do remember. That's why I was asking about the dog, because I remember Roland said he tied him to the steel defender.
Gotcha. Okay. So the steel defender would have followed you. The dog would be with the steel defender, but the guardsman would have told you to leave that outside. They are not comfortable.
At that point, I would just tell the steel defender to defend the dog.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Don't want any more Leos to take any more dogs. Okay, cool.
So I'll just wait.
Okay. So you wait for what feels like a couple of hours. Which at this point, it's already like early morning. It's already like 3 a.m, something like that. 2:30, 3 a.m, when you're going to the guard captain's house. So it feels like you're waiting for at least an hour or two in this room. When finally you hear the sliding of the wood on the other side, and the door creaks open. As the door creaks open, in steps a man who you don't recognize, but you've heard of you've heard his description, and the reason that you've heard his description is in and among the not necessarily fraternization, I guess, but just the conversations that you've had with the rest of the party about some of their previous exploits, some of the things that went on, getting them to this point. In and among those tales, in and among that story, there was tale of one particular creature that they had fought at the edge of a forest. Some large shadow demon type creature with massive claws, whom they had the aid of some of the High Lady's guardsmen to fight. And among that story, you were given the description of one of the leaders of that group. A man who stands at about 6 foot high, with a scar torn down the right side of his face. Essentially, whatever remnants of an eye there is very minute, and he clearly is blind in that eye. This man who walks into the room before you presents the same appearance of this description. So this is something that you recognize right off the bat.
There's no name associated.
You don't recall there having been a name mentioned to you. in and among the stories that you've heard. Now, in and among those stories, though, the one thing that stands out to you is the fact that this person is, in fact, not one of the guard captains for Waterdeep,
Okay.
but instead is directly affiliated with the High Lady herself. And so that's one of the things that you recognize.
So was he part of the people that were trying to help, or part of like the shadow demons thing?
No, he was there fighting. He was there fighting the shadow demon or whatever.
Okay, good.
So, that being said, he walks in and he takes a look at you. For a moment, he bears the appearance of surprise, but not like utter shock, like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. More like he didn't expect to see you in here, or someone of your stature in this room. He walks over to you, and he sits down, and he immediately begins to talk to you about cultist involvement in political matters. He doesn't mention the tavern at all. He goes straight into, now mind you, after he stepped in, the door closes behind him and the bar goes down. You hear the bar go down on the other side of the door again, locking the two of you into the room. So sitting across from the table from you, he says that he has had communication with the High Lady. He has been fully briefed on the current events and what's going on. He brings up to you the ball that's supposed to take place in 2 days. He says, he talks about potential evidence of the things, the involvement of some of the council members or whatever. He's afraid that the High Lady may have been misguided about a couple of the people that are assumed that involvement is assumed about, but understands that one of you has had some sort of vision, and mentions to you that he has been assigned essentially personal guard, especially with the compromisation of the High Lady's previous hideout. So he's been assigned personal guard as the High Lady, or for the High Lady, due to this scenario, due to this situation, right? So when he gets done telling all of the things that he has to say to you or whatever, he merely says, in regards to Ulfney, he does bring up Ulfney Colborn, but he only brings up Ulfney one time, and he only says that his understanding is that Ulfney has some sort of plan that would help thwart the dragon cult's overall goal. He mentions to you that they now understand that money is being funneled northward from Waterdeep, and or at least gold and treasure have been being funneled northward from Waterdeep. And he says that any future operations and things like that are likely to move in that direction. So he says all of this. He doesn't give you his name. He doesn't ask your name. He says to you he understands that you have a part to play, and that your part will likely be just as important as everyone else's. And he then mentions to you that Ulfney's supposed to be returning soon. They've received word that Ulfney's going to be returning soon, and that you need to speak with Ulfney when he gets back. With that, he doesn't say anything else. He steps up from the table, walks over to the door, knocks on the door. You hear the latch on the other side of the door come up. The bar on the other side of the door come up. The door swings open again. Somebody then kind of like steps up to him. There's some whispering back and forth that goes on between the two of them, and then that guardsman walks away.
And right before he walks out, I'm just gonna be like, "Hi, I'm Atlas."
He with his
I
good
never
eye,
really got a word out.
he just kind of turns back to you and kind of looks and nods, and then turns and walks away.
I don't know who he is, so I'm just gonna kind of play stupid.
Okay, that's fine. So make a perception check for me, real quick.
Okay. Perception rolled a 4.
Hmm.
So not very good.
Okay.
Not very good at all.
So the only thing that you can tell is by the time he gets done talking, it almost the hallway almost bears the appearance of sunlight shining in through a window.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Another man steps in. Now, this man that steps in, this is someone who has the appearance of a man that's seen the battlefield quite a few times. He's an older gentleman. He's in his late 50s. He's got a full gray beard. It's trimmed. It's pretty neatly trimmed. He wears a breastplate that you know bears the marking of Guardsman of Waterdeep. But he's fairly decorated. He's got some other things about him, some decorations on his armor, things that separate him from General City Guard. Some trim, things that you know, having been a denizen of Waterdeep for so many years, whatever. Things that you know set him apart in such a way that he is an officer of the City Guard. Whether or not he's the guard captain, you're not 100% sure, but he is definitely high ranking. So he walks in and he kind of pulls the chair out. He looks at you, kind of trying to take in your countenance to see what your demeanor is, see how you're kind of carrying yourself, whatever. He sits down in his chair and slides his chair. He kind of scoots himself up to the table. He puts his elbows on the table and interlaces his fingers, and he says, "I believe you and I have a few things to talk about." Okay.
I'll interlace my fingers as well.
Okay. Roland. So you
Yes.
have made your way. You've gone back to the High Lady's hideout. Now this is still like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's still dark out. You have just left the High Lady's hideout and taken flight again. You can still see the flickering light like way off in the distance, right? So it's a very small flickering light now. And you can see as you look up into the sky, some of the stars off in the distance have been blotted out, but what you can assume is billowing smoke, where most of the fire of the tavern's burning have come to a smolder. And now billowing smoke rises into the air, blotting out some of the light from stars and such. So you take flight. Make a perception roll for me.
Another one.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
So your stealth roll last time was pretty good. You've decided to make your way away.
14.
Okay. All right. As you're flying, you take flight. How high up do you want to go?
Okay, so just so I understand where I'm at the moment, left the High Lady's place. I was in the cart for about, I don't know how long. Saw someone following me.
Right.
How far away from Ricardo's shop was I? Would I know?
So when you dipped into the alleyway and took you were probably 10 minutes cart ride
Okay.
from you had made it about halfway essentially. Or maybe it was two. Hang on a second, let me look. It might be less than that. Da, 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 da. Gotcha. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys. Oh, did I not open the city specific notes? Cool. All right. Yeah, I was just relocating the Stoneflyer shop. I had to look up my notes to see what streets it was off of because I had forgotten. Bam, look at that. Okay. Yeah, so essentially you've made it 2/3 of the way. You're not halfway, but you made it 2/3 of the way to the shop. It is dark outside, but you can tell that off in the distance, in a couple of hours, you're going to begin to see the sun peak.
Okay, so my objective, once I realized someone was following me,
Yes.
after I went into the alleyway, I was gonna try to fly as quickly as possible. So, I mean, if that's like all my movement,
Make a
whatever.
dexterity check real quick. Just make a
Oh,
dexterity check.
Jesus.
Let's see. We'll start you off strong. So you like dipped into that alleyway and
16.
disappeared, right? So this person did
Yeah.
not see you fly out of the alleyway at all.
Okay. 16.
Okay.
And then, okay, so I would have been in the air, but I would have tried to keep myself out of any kind of like ranged attack. Like, I just had fireballs thrown at me. I'm not really trying to be an target
So you're
even
trying
at
to
night.
fly higher than 60 feet then? Is that?
Yeah, definitely higher than 60 feet. I mean, I don't want. I'm assuming if I'm flying and I mainly dressed in dark clothes at night in the city with
Right.
street lights, that they wouldn't be able to see me. That's kind of the mentality I had. So I'm flying pretty
Okay.
high
Yeah,
above the
sure.
city. Yeah, until I can get to the Ricard
Cool.
shop where I know what
Yeah,
it is.
so essentially you've flown up high enough that you're now just like a black silhouette against a black sky.
Okay.
So in order for someone to see you, they would have to make an incredible roll. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, his dexterity check was a 16. Roll 16 on his dexterity check. Okay, so as you're flying through the sky or whatever, you hear something. You hear something off in the distance, northward, coming from the. Now it's an audible sound that has originated northward of you. As you look over, glance, over your shoulder, essentially, because you're flying southward. So as you glance over your shoulder, you see off at the distance a very small black silhouette that is also in the sky. But it is either incredibly small or an incredibly far away. You're not 100% sure which.
Jesus. Okay. It's
Um,
just following me. Is it the same thing that was
no, I didn't say it was following you.
okay?
I only said that you hear an audible sound and then you see a black silhouette, either incredibly small or incredibly far off in the distance.
Okay.
But it is northward. It is
Northward.
far northward.
Okay.
As it almost bears the appearance of being at the northern border
The northern border?
of Waterdeep.
And I can see it.
Just barely.
Okay. So I know I used Hunter's Mark on the person that was on the horse following me. That was mainly so I could know where they were if they
Right.
were catching up.
That is not what that is.
Okay. And this thing is flying.
Yes.
For sure flying.
Yes.
Does it look like it has wings? Can I tell if it looks like it has like
you
two
can't
things?
tell. It's
Son
hard
of
to
a
tell.
bitch.
From this distance, it's incredibly hard to tell.
But I heard something you said.
Yes. There's definitely an audible sound.
Oh fuck. I don't
It's
like
almost like
this.
it's almost like a not a recreation of, but like when you saw the shadow like pass through the trees in the forest, right? So think of that, except that like you see the light from the stars blot out momentarily, and it's like way off in the distance, right? Way off in the distance.
How far is the northern border from where I'm at right now?
So you are able to make it to the shop in 3 minutes.
Okay.
So it is a really good distance.
That's pretty ominous. Huh.
So
Some black.
as you're flying, you look over your shoulder. You know, you see this little silhouette shadow thing kind of pass through the sky, or whatever, off in the distance, right?
Keep saying little, but it seems
You
like it has to be huge.
turn back, and you are above the Stoneflyer shop.
Oh god, did I freeze again?
No.
No.
Okay, there was some lag. I couldn't see anyone moving or I couldn't hear anything the
Gotcha.
last like 5 seconds.
Okay. Fast forward to Skydrick and Ricard. You guys are making your way up to the warehouse, right? So you're making your way northeastward. The warehouse is up in the field ward. So you guys are making your way that direction, and you do eventually make it there. It doesn't take too terribly long, right?
You said what was in the field ward?
This is the
Warehouse.
warehouse.
Oh, Atlas's warehouse is in the field ward. Oh, okay.
Let me double check and make sure I got that right. Do I have that right, Atlas? I'm pretty sure that's where it was, right? You're muted.
You're muted. Nobody can hear you.
Sorry. I was just saying, I think it's the North Ward, but I'll be sure. So I was looking up the Waterdeep interactive map.
Right.
Yeah,
it might be the North Ward. It's not far. It's not far from the High Lady's shop. We just haven't been to the warehouse in a minute.
Actually, yeah, it is in the field ward.
Oh,
Prestige
okay.
Lane in the field ward. Yeah.
Yep.
So I figured out.
That's right.
Okay, so you're making your way northward, and it takes a little bit to get there, but not too terribly long, right? You make it there in like 15-20 minutes. So it's about 9:30 in the morning, right? 10:30 in the morning, after the attunement and everything, the bath, and having your armor shine, etc. So you guys do eventually manage to make it to the warehouse. As you approach the warehouse, you know that it's a little bit busy. It's a little bit busier than it was the last time that you were there, or at least the last time you arrived there, not necessarily when you left there. But there are a couple of people that seem to be as you're approaching, whenever you see this cart that's outside, and in the back of the cart there are bales of wheat, essentially, and you see a couple of people that are coming in and out of the warehouse, and they're throwing these bales of wheat over their shoulder and carrying it back into the warehouse, right? You can hear all the sounds coming from within the warehouse. You can tell, that there's a mill going. Um, you can hear the noises of donkeys and the grinding of stone against stone. Um, and it smells delicious. It's like, the smell of fresh baked bread with a slightly sweet hint to it, just wafting through the air, almost, to the point of causing salivation. Um, salivation, not salvation.
Oh, now I see.
Just wanted to make sure no one misheard. Anyway, so you
Kinda
get there, and
look-
what did you? Go ahead.
Once I get there, I kind of look up to the window and see if I spot Went.
Okay, you don't see Went in the windowsill.
That's strange.
Now, kind of look over at Lana, who's sitting on my shoulder, and just, this is where she saw her. Guess we just have to go inside. I doubt she sat in one place all night, right?
I guess
Okay.
we don't have to worry about her being fed.
You have
Um,
to introduce me to everybody.
I don't think I actually was introduced last time I came here.
Oh, really? Okay.
You at least heard his name.
Yeah.
yes.
I just
So as you guys are approaching, you do see the same gentleman that you guys recall Atlas having interacted with the last time. This is the gentleman who's kind of like, Atlas's dad's like right hand man, kind of runs the warehouse while he's not there, makes sure everything is in order. Definitely, he's not necessarily a busybody per se, but he definitely makes sure that things stay organized and go as planned.
His name is Eisner.
As you guys are kind of approaching the outside of the warehouse or whatever, you see these people going in and out. Eisner's one of them. He comes out of the warehouse doors on the side, comes around to the cart, and sees you guys. He immediately recognizes Skodrick. And he's like, "Oh, hey there." He's like,
hey,
"You're friends of Atlas's family."
that's correct.
He says, "Oh, what can we help you with?"
Just curious. Have you seen a dark, small little bird flying around?
And he kind of chuckles. He's like, "That's funny. You should mention that. We actually have had a little friend hanging around, and he's become one of the family essentially." And he says, "Here, follow me inside."
Okay.
I
And
kind of stick my head out around Scoudrick and go,
Oh,
"What?"
this is
oh yes,
Ricard.
forgive my rudeness. And he kind of bows a little bit, and he says, "I am Eisner.
No worries.
It's very nice to meet you." And he then turns. He's like, "Yes, please come." And he begins to make his way back through the doors. Now, these are the doors that you guys did not come in last time. These are double doors. They open a little bit wider, allowing for more traffic to flow in and out. So you guys walk in. As you walk in, you see there are a couple of handfuls of people at work in here. There are a couple of people that are working, like some of the stone ovens that are going. As you walk in, the intensity of the smell is that much stronger. But it's also accompanied this time by some heat, immediately causing a little bit of beading of sweat. So it's pretty warm. It's pretty warm in here.
I'll look over at Eisner and go, that smell is divine.
He's like, "Yes, thank you." He says, "We pride ourselves in our bread. Would you care for some?"
Most definitely.
He says, he just kind of looks over and raises like a hand, kind of snaps, and he says, 2 loaves, please.
And
In
while he's doing that, I want to kind of chime up and go, "Hey, I don't suppose you've seen Atlas or our friend Roland, have you, this morning by any chance, or maybe really early?"
He says, why no, my apologies, but I will certainly be on the lookout for them should they turn up. Where is there somewhere? Would you like me to send message or word to someone or?
Oh, no, 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 no. Just they went out for a night on the town type of thing, and we haven't heard from them yet today. So
Ah,
just while we were out and about, figure since we were here, I'd ask.
very good. He says, well, I hope that you find success in locating your friends.
Oh yeah.
So as he's kind of finishing saying this or whatever, wrapped in this almost burlap type material or whatever, these two, uh, small, like football sized wrappings. And this person kind of this woman wearing like this apron or whatever that at one point what had been brown or whatever, but now is white with the paddings of flour just completely covered up and down the front of her apron. She kind of waddles over to Eisner and hands him these 2 loaves or whatever, and then he hands each of you one of them.
Oh, thank you.
As
Thank you.
you take them, they feel warm and soft in your hand.
I look at Eisner and go, how much do we owe you for the loaves?
He's like, oh no, 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 that won't be necessary. He says, uh, we'll say that your little friend's company was enough for the payment. Speaking of
Oh, yeah.
which, there he is now,
Come on.
and he points over into the floor. And as he points over into the floor, you see there's the woman that had just handed off the loaves or whatever. She's kind of making her way back around this countertop where people are like beating and patting and kneading these massive chunks of dough, and then passing them kind of like down the line, and you see somebody else sprinkle some kind of spice or something and then fold it over into the in kneading or whatever, and you look over to the right of that as she's passing by, and she reaches into her pocket and takes out just a few grains, and drops them onto the ground. And as she does so, you see pecking at the ground where she's dropped grains, Wint, who is a little heavier than last you saw her.
I see
Uh,
you've been having a good time.
And
Like,
you
is she like a is this like Fat Cat
chicken?
level?
not
Like, is
quite
she
like
not capable of flying anymore?
not quite like that, but you do know, like, Wint sees you and immediately, kind of stops pecking the ground and then turns to fly towards you. And when Wint does manage to lift off or whatever, but you definitely tell there's some struggle there.
I just look up at Lana and go, "I'm never leaving you here. That's not healthy."
um, so and
It's like,
Wint flies up and kind of settles on your shoulder, Skadrick, and there's definitely, for as light as a bird is, there has definitely been some weight added in this.
so you
Almost
enjoyed
put the loaf
yourself.
of bread in my bag of holding.
Put her on my shoulder.
Okay, very
I
good.
noticed Skodrick's shoulder now drooping a little bit.
Maybe not that.
I'm like, that is well, Skodrick, if the worst ever comes, you have an emergency food supply now.
Yeah.
He
I
doesn't.
kind of giggle a little bit,
He doesn't
and
mean
I go,
it.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Um,
You know how to set your flame to flambe? Is that that's all?
oh no.
Jeez. All right. Thank you for taking care of her. Is there anything I can, pay you back for that?
Oh no, my friend. I certainly appreciate the generosity. However, I believe that we're you seem fairly well-to-do people, and if you're hanging out with Atlas's family, it must be so. I'm sure that your do-gooding will be well enough to make up for any, make up for anything that we've done here.
Hmm.
So please worry yourself not.
Well, Chandrick, I guess where were we planning to go next?
I think Roland was very interested in items at the Flying Stone, right?
The Stoneflyer.
Stoneflyer.
Yeah, the stone. My family shop. Yeah.
Flaming stone.
That one, it's all
David
the
does-
bread and the heat
Yeah.
got to you. I understand.
Our
Well,
bird's back.
there's that. Where's Atlas's family home? Is it near here? Or is it south?
Been there.
I haven't been there. I figured maybe we could swing by there and look for Atlas and Roland.
Has Roland even been there?
I don't think so.
No idea.
I think you did your side thing.
I'm gonna kind of look back at.
I believe I did tell you guys
uh,
that it was a house shop. So
Yeah, so I'll look
look
back at
for,
Eisner and go, Eisner, we might stop by your Atlas's family home if that's okay, and just to see if him and Roland are there. Can you point us in that direction? I've never been there before. I was unfortunately a little bit
Oh,
wrapped up in some proceedings when.
why, I certainly can. And he says, please follow me, sir. And he begins to make his way back outside.
Is Roland
Okay.
disguised at all? Or, I'm sorry, Ricard disguised at all?
I
Yeah,
look
he's
like
wearing the hat of disguise
Okay.
I look like Russell Crowe
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
from Gladiator.
That's right.
from Gladiator, not old Russell Crowe.
You heard it here, ladies.
Mhm.
Guess who's back? No. Okay. So you guys, you follow Eisner back out of the warehouse or whatever, and he raises an arm or whatever. As you guys are watching him, he raises an arm, essentially hails the cart, and the cart kind of comes over and pulls up to him, and you see him pass a few pieces of silver over to the cartman and mention something, and he looks back at you guys and he says, well, this cartman will take you right there.
Oh,
Do you
man.
mind telling us what direction it is? That way I know where we're going before
He
we get there.
says, why, yes, I certainly can, as soon as our DM finds it in his notes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
talking about my
There's-
place.
Yes, we
Yeah.
were looking for your house, Atlas.
It's on the trades ward on Shore
Out
Street.
of character. In the trade ward. Okay. I'm like, oh, trade ward. That'd
Oh,
be
yeah, I
great.
remember.
That's not too far from where my my family shop is in the dock ward. So that'd be perfect.
Be right on the way.
Cool.
Maybe we can maybe we'll swing by my family shop first. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of them's somewhere and one of them's it. They might be together. Hopefully they're together.
Flip a coin. How about that? Call it heads or tails.
Heads.
Heads it is.
All
What were you
right. The Flying Stone. No, the Stone Flyer
Damn
shop.
it.
There are like if Scotchick and Ricard are alone, there's a couple questions I want to ask them.
Yeah, go for it.
Such as like, do you think it's a good idea for us to go back to that crime scene, or
Which crime scene?
Jesus, that's
That's the
terrible.
one. Which crime scene are you talking about? And we should really get in the cart and talk about this on the way.
yeah, that's what we're doing. As we're on our way, I would like to start that.
Okay, so we're in the cart on the way as you say
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be the cart driver, like, what the
I
hell?
was
What's going
about to
on?
be curious about
So,
things.
quite, I guess, so was Heads to go to his shop first, his home first,
Stone Flyer.
or Stonefly first? Okay. Well, by crime scene, I assume you mean the High Lady's home or her hideout?
Mm,
Which crime scene? What?
the
Now, keep in
okay.
mind, Skodrick doesn't know of the tavern issue yet.
No, neither do I. That's why I'm
Right.
like, what crime
No,
scene?
the one at the embassy.
Oh, there. Do I think it's wise for us to go back there?
Because the High Lady wants us to go.
I
Right.
mean,
She did request that you guys had participated in. She had requested you guys participate in the cleanup.
yes, but that wasn't like we had time to do some rounds about town and then go back, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
you do have some time, a little bit of time there.
All right.
Okay. So Atlas,
Yeah. All right.
this gentleman sitting across from you, and he has asked you to kind of detail out the events that took place. Are there any events specifically that you would like to leave out?
So you're the
Any details? He's asking you about the tavern situation. He immediately, like, he comes in, he immediately sits down and asks you about the tavern situation. Are there
Can I
any?
ask him if he's the captain of the guard first?
He says yes that he is.
Okay, who was the other guy? He just like kind of just talked to me, more like at me for like a few minutes and just left. I didn't get his name.
He says, if he didn't give you his name, it's not my place to do so.
Okay, fair enough. So out of character, I'm trying to think of if there's anything that I want to leave out. I will
Right.
not leave out the part about the apparent wizard. Okay, if I leave it out, I leave it out. But I'll kind of just tell him what happened, if that's cool.
So you're not leaving out any details?
Well, I'm gonna. Do you mind, like, if I just tell him, and if I leave it out, then I leave it out?
No, I need to know right
What's
now
that
if you're
mean?
leaving out any details. Yeah, like I need to.
Well, I mean, like, I was gonna role play like okay, this is what happened, you know.
Oh, so I was gonna skip the role play portion just to save time.
Okay, that's fine.
If you want,
you know what? I think I'm gonna leave out the part about the dog.
about you seeing the dog in the tavern.
Well,
the dog in general.
just my dog in general.
Okay.
Other than the fact that, like, if someone asks, you know, like, whose dog is out there, I'll say, you know, it's my dog or whatever. But I'm not gonna go any further than that.
Okay. I mean, if you want to role play it out, we can. If you would prefer to, I was just going to skip the conversation because everybody already knows what happens
Yeah.
at the tavern
Yeah.
and everything. So I was going to skip all the.
The only thing that I'm really debating, like, there are things that I want to word a certain way, and we don't have to role play the whole thing, but I kind of just I want to make the impression that it wasn't me who started the entire, like, bar fight thing. Like, you know, I'll put the blame on myself where I feel like it's responsible, like the part where, you know, I challenged this guy to a fight, albeit a fair fight. Then, you know, I never placed a bet against this guy. My friend did, and somehow my friend got it that, you know, he was not playing fairly or something. I never even caught the conversation. I was standing right there, but I never got all the specific details of, like, why they're having a discrepancy with money. And then so some big bar fight happened because of that, where these guys were doing, like, lethal blows against me and my friend, and we weren't trading lethal blows back at them, but so we found ourselves outnumbered. I used an ability that I had that you know, sprays glowing dust on people. You might have heard of it. It's called Fairy Fire. And in doing that, it just so happened to reveal some guy who was invisible there the entire time. And because we saw him, I guess he got pissed off. He tried to hurt my friend, but my friend was like, "Hey, who are you?" When he was walking out the door, he blows his cover, his own cover, albeit. And then he looks at everybody and he's like, "I'm so sorry that you all saw my face." Boom, lights off a fireball. The entire place starts to go in flames. And then, we keep fighting this guy. Eventually, the building just collapses. So that's the whole thing.
Okay. Roll a d20 for me.
It's never easy.
And then.
Oh Jesus.
Okay.
14.
Um,
Now, if there's anything that I've unintentionally left out, I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just assume that you included all the other details or whatever. So the thing that he specifies two things. He asks you what your friend's name is first.
Okay.
And then, so that's the first question he asks.
Interesting.
And the second question he asks is, have you ever seen the wizard before?
Now, I know for a fact that I've never seen the wizard before, but I will be honest with you, sir. So yes, this is my friend. And as a matter of fact, I would be willing to have you meet him if he would be willing to meet with you. I'm sure if you subpoenaed his ass, that would also be another route you could take. Not suggesting anything, but let's just say.
And he's going to have to do.
Okay, I see. Now, of course, I don't have that power with the other guy.
No, he's
but
asking.
it's as you said. Oh, like if I would?
If you feel like that's going to be something he'll have to do.
Probably not. I mean, if you summon my guy, he'll probably come. It's not a big deal. Matter of fact, I'll message that, to him if you need me to. I'd be fine with complying to that, but I would like to follow suit here and just say that I don't know if he would want his name to be given out, just like the other guy who walked out of the room a few minutes ago. He didn't want his name given out, and that is in no way in any spite towards you at all, sir. I respect the law and to the fullest degree.
He says, how am I to summon him if I don't have his name?
Well, I mean, I know his description, and I believe I know exactly who you're talking about. It's my friend who was there at the tavern. I can get him.
Jesus Christ.
And he says, perhaps we will have you retrieve him. He says, maybe I'll send an escort with you.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
He says, very well.
Yeah, we're not shady like that.
So he says that he appreciates that. He kind of calls out. When he calls out, the door opens again. When the door opens again, another guardsman kind of walks up to him. He looks at the guardsman and he says, we're going to need the shaman. And the guardsman says, oh, very well. There's some cleanup going on over there today. It seems that someone has caused damage to one of the to the hall, the meeting hall there. He says, so we could go to aid the cleanup and retrieve the shaman in the same go. And the gentleman says, yes, that might be very well. He then kind of makes a motion or whatever, like moves his hand, waves his hand in the air, whatever. The guardsman walks out, leaves you two. He then stands up and he says, well, sir, I am going to be, I'm going to have someone escort you. and he says, "You are welcome to go about your business today. You're welcome to do what it is you would like to do. Um, he will just be with you until you're ready to retrieve your friend and bring him back to speak with us."
Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. And if you have any further questions, even beyond that, like if we don't get to speak again, then you can always go through the High Lady to get to me because, we talk to her a lot. So,
He says, very well. So he stands up, he walks out into the hallway, and he says to one of the guardsmen in the hallway, he says, um, "I have a job for Goslin. Please go get it." And
mm,
you hear the other person laughing, kind of burst into laughter. And he says, "Yes, sir. I'll be right there." And then you hear footsteps running down the hallway, and then you hear two
mm.
sets of footsteps running back, or two sets of footsteps coming back. Um, the the captain of the guard walks back into the room, and he looks at you and he says, "Well, sir, you are free to go. And this is Goslin. He'll be traveling with you today until you're ready." Um, he so this very large, very tall, frumpy looking guardsman kind of steps around into the doorway. He's so large so that his frame fills the entirety of the doorway, and he looks at you and he's like, "Hi,
Oh God.
I'm Gosling, and I'm gonna be watching you."
What if I fall asleep? What's gonna happen then?
I'll be right there.
All
Um,
right, Lenny. Let's tell you about the flowers for a little while.
he's like, whatever that means. Let's go, buddy. And he kind of begins to guide you out of the room. You recognize the hallways or whatever. He guides you out of the front of the building. When you step outside, it's daylight now. It's a little bit later in the morning. Hours have passed. Um, yeah, so it's pretty
So, do
late.
they give you specific instructions just to watch me, or anything else?
Just going where you go.
Oh, I see. You're like protection. Okay, I
Wherever
gotcha.
you want to go, I'll be right there.
Hmm.
Okay, Roland, you are
Mhm.
floating over the Stoneflower shop. It is nighttime, so this is, a few hours back.
Okay.
You have seen the shadow pass through the sky off in the distance. What would you like to do?
Uh, okay. So it's at the northern border. Is it above the city or just outside the northern border? From
You
what I
can't
can,
tell.
cannot tell.
You
Okay.
cannot tell that. Yeah,
Well, is it seemingly coming closer to me or my direction, or is it just
that is
out?
also something that's very hard to tell.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna land near the shop. I'm gonna survey the area, make sure there's no shenanigans afoot,
Okay, make
and
another
then
perception check for me.
I love these perception checks. I love them. 17.
Okay. So as you kind of, you're coming in for a landing or whatever, and you see kind of looking around or whatever. Everybody is, the city is still pretty quiet in this portion. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you might hear like one horse-drawn cart rolling down the street, a couple of streets over. You do see like the various street lamps still illuminated. There are a couple of taverns that you can kind of see, lights burning from inside of. Um, but uh, the patrons of those have kind of dwindled down. Um, yeah, so it's your typical like 3:30, 4 a.m.
Okay.
Things are beginning to wrap up. Any night events are wrapping up or whatever, and the early risers haven't begun to sprout to life yet.
Is there a back door to this shop?
There is a back door.
I'm going to knock on the back door.
Okay. Okay. Let me see.
God.
There is no response.
K.O.
I want you to bang on the back door. Can I do that?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
Advantage this time. Okay. So you bang on the back door. You wait for, I don't know, probably 5-10 minutes.
Jesus.
And finally, the door creaks ever so slightly open. When it creaks ever so slightly open, a tip of a spear immediately juts out, pointing directly at you. And you hear a familiar voice come from inside, like a high, squeaky kind of voice. What do you want?
Oh no, I'm not laughing in game. It's completely out of character.
I would laugh in game.
Roll is not in the mood for laughter right now. I'm just gonna be like, is this entirely necessary? And like, I can't remember this gentleman's name. I just can't. I can't.
Make a
Oh Jesus!
make an intelligence
Isn't
check
it Niso?
or history
Would
check.
Would it be a disadvantage though?
Be a disadvantage.
I don't know.
had conversations with
I
him.
don't know.
He wasn't there the entire time, but
19.
okay, yeah. So this person, bears the familiarity of Nisa.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
He says, "You come knocking on my door 4 more."
Oh, was it
What?
4 in the morning?
Well, yeah, that cut out.
Mike does not want to pick that voice up.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing.
It-
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like cutting out
it's-
every 2
I
seconds.
think it's trying to avoid the copyright claim for Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
In his like kind of squeaky voice, he says, "Someone comes and opens my door or bangs on my door this early in the morning. What would someone expect?"
Oh, I mean, maybe not a spear to the gut, maybe a foul word or two, probably. Anyway, I'm just gonna ask him. Just kind of needed to
So he swings
lay
and
low for a bit. Oh, okay, just gonna let me in. Cool.
puts the spear down, and then he steps out of the threshold of the door.
Oh, he's stepping out towards me.
Yeah, he steps out towards you.
Not gonna invite me in. Okay, cool.
He says, "And what can we help you with? We're closed for business, as you can tell."
I mean, say closed for business. I mean, we still had business that we hadn't finished, so I'm just kind of here to take care of that and just asking for
You
a
could
teeny weeny
wait,
personal favor. Huh? What was that?
wait until a more convenient time, like daylight.
Well, I'm kind of in a peculiar situation right now.
He looks at you with like an air of curiosity.
Yeah, it'd be better if we talked inside because wandering eyes and possible fireballs foot
Very
tonight. Okay.
well. Come inside.
Thank
He
you very
steps
much.
inside the door, whatever. You see him kind of like move his hands around a little bit and say something, and then steps inside the door.
Okay. So,
And
well, I was
holds
just
the
gonna say
door
first things first. After he closes the door, I'm just gonna pull out the platinum statue and like put it on the counter.
Okay.
Just be like, that should cover, I would assume, the thing that we talked about earlier, and possibly some other things I'm gonna talk to you about later. But
So he pulls the stool over to the counter and climbs up on the stool, grabs the statue, climbs back off the stool, and then goes in through the little pearlescent dangly thing in the kitchen. And he motions for you to follow him into the kitchen.
Okay. So yeah, there's that. Not quite sure how to phrase this, but I kind of need a place to stay the night. I know it seems a little odd. It's just a bit weird, just a lot of commotion happening. You probably hear about it tomorrow.
He
I
pulls
didn't do
out
all of it.
a tiny like coffee mug.
Hmm.
He kind of picks up the counter or whatever, picks up this wand, kind of points the wand down into the coffee mug. You see the coffee mug kind of fill with some kind of liquid. He puts the wand down, and he picks up another wand, holds it beneath the coffee mug. A little flame emits, and kind of like begins to heat the mug. He sits there for a minute, and he's like,
Very convenient.
"Yes," and he puts the wand down, and he says, "Tell me of how you need a place to stay this night." And begins sipping
Well,
this.
I'll explain the gist of what happened. The not terrorist attack that we did at the the meeting hall, and then the absolute massacre of all these people getting disintegrated at the tavern, and just kind of stare off into the distance, just pondering life in the universe, and say, do you have any alcohol?
He says, "Why, yes, I do." And
Uh,
he looks over at his counter or whatever, and he says, "There are a couple of things that we have here to sell. Should you want one of those, bear in mind the warning labels. However, if you would like something that is good and delicious," he pulls from within like this little pocket in his, seemingly like he's wearing like this nightgown thing that stretches like all the way to the floor, like to his ankles or whatever. And he pulls from a pocket like this little flask looking type dealio. And he says, "Now, I don't drink this myself, but it tends to help on the sleepless nights."
mm.
And kind of holds it out to you.
Well, let's drown out the screams.
He says, "Oh, it'll do more than that."
I just needed to drown out the screams. I don't need anything else. I'm not looking for a
Yes.
good time. Okay.
Then perhaps you would like one of these concoctions that we've had made. And he kind of points up into the cabinet and he says, "Now, of course, we typically charge for these.
Uh-huh.
And
How much?
given their being concocted, they are of the Ish brand." He said, "We typically sell a small bottle for 100 gold, but I'll
Mm.
get you a deal." He just has this enormous grin on his face.
Do you expect me to pay 100 gold for this, or even something close to 100 gold for this?
He says, "Well, what do you have?" He's like, "You've provided the platinum statue, but that was for the expediting of your combining elements on this trident that you've requested."
Yes.
He says,
Plus something else.
"Yes."
I know the value of that, and I know how much I owed you.
He says, "I'll sell you a bottle for 50 gold."
What the hell? I pull off 50 gold, throw it on the counter.
He gives you. He pulls down one of the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't anticipating. One second.
Is there something I could help with, DM?
No, it's just a thing I've got to look up real quick.
Oh, okay. It's an actual thing. Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. So he hands you the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to drink it? You saving it?
I'm just gonna leave it right in front of me for a minute. I'm gonna ask for a piece of paper, some parchment, something to write with.
Okay. He goes and retrieves like a quill and ink bottle and piece of parchment for you.
Okay. Now, for the other thing I was asking for, I'm just gonna write some stuff down, and I'll send this to you later, and you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
then the other thing is, not now because it's late, but at your earliest convenience in the morning, you could send a message to Ricard and Skadrick. They should be at the Harper's location, but I don't know how long it would take for someone to get there. Someone could just find them. Or, how rare are Dragonborn in this area? Is it like Skadrick, like a
No,
person people
Skadrick
would
is
pick out?
not sticking out like a sore thumb.
Damn.
Waterdeep is a large conglomeration of many races.
Of course.
So, where Dragonborn aren't necessarily as prevalent as some of the other races, typically the Dragonborn that exist in Waterdeep exist within within or among the nobility of Waterdeep, and so a lot more of any of the Dragonborn populace that would exist there. But it's not where it might be uncommon. It's not rare. It's not a rarity.
Okay.
So for like every 30 or 40 people in Waterdeep, which there are thousands, you might see a Dragonborn. So
okay. Well, I know what Skadrick's armor looks like, right? I know general. I can pull details out. Okay, so I'm gonna send 3 letters out to 3 different locations, all saying the same thing. But I were to go and say in the morning, if you could send 3 couriers out to the Harpers, to Atlas's farm, and what's the third place I'm thinking of? Maybe just 2, because I think I'm at the 3rd place, which would be here. Yeah, and then to look in either of those areas to see if they see someone that matches Skadrick's description, and give him this message, basically letting him know what happened with Atlas, that he went with some guards in that location near the tavern.
Okay.
Okay. And that's pretty much it.
He says, okay.
And then I'm here at the shop.
He says, very well.
And I'll give him the gold for that.
Okay. All right.
And if he has a bed, I'll just head there, or a cot, or the floor, or whatever, with the bottle.
He says to you that he doesn't have a bed available for you, but you're welcome to sleep in the kitchen floor should you desire to. He says he'll bring you a cloak to throw over you as a blanket.
Do you have some cloth I can use as a pillow? Bag or something?
He said he could
Flour?
bring a second cloak.
Okay.
So he leaves the kitchen, or whatever leaves you in the kitchen. And when he comes back with 2 cloaks. They are both gnome-sized cloaks. They're like these tiny
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh,
Just
this
we're
much of
just
you.
gonna count my blessings, and I'm gonna pull out Charlo's music box, crank it up, and I'm gonna just say, "Just leave me be," and I'll just contemplate whether or not I'm gonna drink this stuff tonight or not.
Hey, he brought you 2 of them. Oh, it's kind of nice.
Are you
Yeah.
contemplating or are you drinking it?
I bought the bottle.
Right. You did
Just-
buy the bottle.
I'm gonna flip a coin, and then I'll let you know later if I drink it.
Well, I kind of
Or do
need
you need to know it's for like exhaustion and whatnot?
Right.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I'll just get Siri to do it. Okay.
Was he about to like
Drink
flip
it,
a
drink
coin?
it, drink it, drink it.
Okay. I'm gonna say heads I drink it, tails I don't.
Okay.
Hey Siri, flip a coin.
It's heads.
Oh,
Bottoms up.
Good job, Siri.
All right. So the first things first. I'm
mhm.
gonna make a Constitution
Yep.
for me. So that's the first thing. The next
18.
thing is okay. So you do feel as if you're becoming slightly drowsy, but you don't feel like any kind of illness or anything on set. However, as you're laying on the floor, your clothing feels as if it's shrinking, and
Mhm.
it begins to become tighter and tighter, so much so that any of the layers of clothing that are on the underneath, like the underneath most layers,
Yeah.
the seams of those layers begin to pop. Your
Mhm.
your ankles then stick out from beneath your pants. Your feet begin to grow inside your boots, so much so that the leather from the boots stretches to a significant amount. You
Mhm.
have grown to a large size. You are now
Interesting.
large sized. No
Well,
longer a medium creature. You're a large creature.
that's interesting. So,
Now your blanket
uh,
is even smaller.
yeah, yes, even smaller. Oh, great. Glad I rolled that 18, I guess. Don't know. This is a great night.
Okay, so Skodrick and Ricard, you guys have decided to make your way first to the Stoneflyer shop. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you're on the cart making your way down, and it doesn't take too terribly long to get from where you guys are. It's about 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes via the cart ride that you're on. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So actually, hang on a second.
Oh, we're in the cart, right? So we went to Atlas's house, right?
No, I
We
would
are
have told him
going
to go by
That's
our
right.
place
flyers
first,
That's right.
and I would have slipped him. I said, and could you speed it up just a little bit, please? We do need to make time.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he takes the additional payment from you and says, "Why, yes," and then kind of flicks the reins a bit to speed you up. So that'll get you down to about 15 minutes.
Okay.
So he does pretty good. He makes pretty good time for you.
And I give him 1 gold, just.
Okay. So he pulls in. He pulls into the same like kind of area square that you guys are familiar with, and um, pulls around to the front of the building, and you guys see the same winding path going up to the building with all of the gnomish and halfling like statuettes and things that kind of decorate the front of the building. And there it is, the Stoneflyer shop, the Stoneflyer Adventuring Gear, the sign reading across the top of the building.
I'll hop out and tell him to please wait there until we come back.
So as you hop out of the cart or
I'll
whatever,
nod.
you begin to kind of make your way up the pathway. The front door swings open, and Niso comes like huffing and puffing up the walkway.
Well, Niso, it looks like you didn't have a good night. Is everything okay?
And he says, "My sleep was interrupted by a friend of yours. Would you please
Oh,
see to him?
which
I believe
one?
he
The
is."
shady one, the rogue, or
The
the
shady
mechanical
one.
one?
Well, he says, given the hour that the
Oh God, he didn't break in,
holy
did he?
hour.
Please tell me he didn't break in.
No,
Okay.
he
Shh.
was very fortunate.
Okay.
And banged on the door hard enough to interrupt someone's restful slumber.
Only slightly better than breaking in.
And he says, I believe he may very well be in the kitchen. Whether or not he's sleeping, I don't care about. He says, I am going back to attend the shop. And he
Of course.
turns and kind of waddles off.
All right, so I'll try and catch up to him to catch the door.
Okay.
All right, Skodrick, it looks like we found one of the two.
Yeah. Had a crazy night.
Y'all, I hope this crap like lasts long enough so when he needs to meet that captain, he's still like twice his size.
All right, so let's step inside
Yep.
and wait for Skodrick to come to the door, and
I'll go through.
yeah, we'll head back into the kitchen. And
So you make your way into the kitchen or whatever to find Roland. Now, Roland, at this point, you would have already kind of awoken. You would have already woken up.
Okay.
So it would give you a little bit of time. So if you wanted to, like, say, study your book, I would allow you to make some of your rolls for your
Okay.
study. Should that be something you desire to do?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. And
Yeah.
I'll assume I got. Am I still large?
Okay, so when you wake up, you have shrunk back down to your normal size, but you find that your clothing is fitting a little more loosely than it was. It doesn't quite fit the way that it did with the combination of the popped seams and the stretched leather.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so your feet are kind of sliding around in your boots a bit. So what this is going to do essentially is, um, it's going to make you feel like you might have to go through some restorative things in order to reshrink the leather, remend the clothing, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as my clothes go, do they sell clothes in this shop?
They do not.
Of course not.
There's not clothing material, not basic clothing material.
Okay, I'm just gonna take some rope
Okay.
and I'm gonna wrap the rope around where the looseness is around my boots, just to keep them on there in a knot, you know.
Sure.
And then let's see. I did roll for the book. Got a 6 on intelligence, so I'm assuming that does nothing. And what else was I gonna do? I would have tried to have worked out, I guess, an estimate with the owner of the shop here to see when
Did you forget
the
his
items I'm requesting. Yeah, I did. Just
disadvantage?
that fast. Hey, I rolled a 6, so obviously, this is what I deserve. But no, just to clarify, like, okay, how long such and such things are going to take, and I mean, if we need to work that out later, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I actually.
You guys had already discussed that. He
Yeah,
said,
I know for the javelin, I know you said it was like 3 days or
"Oh, right,
something.
the other stuff that you're sending to me."
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll just send it to you. You can okay it or not, and
Okay.
we'll fix that after the game,
Yeah, I'll
I
let
guess. Okay.
Okay, so Ricard and Skodrick, you guys come in to find Roland with loosely fitting clothing, sitting in a chair at the table in the kitchen, studying his book.
Rough night.
Do we notice anything odd about his clothing? Is
Make-
he still
Is
there?
it burnt? Is it seared?
Both of you make a perception check, but with advantage because given the considerable amount of time you've spent with him,
Okay.
you've seen his clothing quite a bit.
I've got a 23. That is a nat 20.
Right. So
16.
there is a combination of quite a few things going on. First, you note that there is quite a bit. There's some quite a few more threads hanging than there used to be. There are a couple of seams that have been popped. You note a couple of tears in some of the joint locations of his clothing or whatever, like where his knees are, like the fronts of his knees have popped open. The elbows of his sleeves have torn open. And as you're looking at him, you see rope tied around the cuffs of his boots, holding them. And they no longer appear to be form-fitting as they were before. And there is some singeing to his clothing. There is a slight black char that is along all of the edges of his clothing.
Having noticed that, I'm going to say, Roland, have you eaten yet? You have a look
Have
of
I
a man
eaten?
who hasn't. Yes, you have a look of a man who has not had a good breakfast.
Oh God, a bit of a lag there. Sorry. You asked me if had I eaten?
Yes, you have the look of a man who has not had a good breakfast.
Oh, by the way, you already know who this is.
We're not going to eat the bird, just for the record.
Roland, you see Went sitting up on Skodrick's.
I'm also talking about since he's using a disguise.
Oh,
Does it change his voice?
No, I did not change
no,
my
you
voice.
recognize him.
Yeah, I would recognize his voice. See, we've
I
learned
tip.
to disguise ourselves here.
What is that? Hold on 1 second, DM. How to disguise? How does that?
I found Went.
I see that seems to have looks a little healthier there.
Yeah, she had fun.
Okay. That's
I'm going to
good.
take the hat off and put it in front of me and take a slight bow. And as soon as I remove the hat, Ricard. And I put it back on my head, and 6 seconds later,
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe from The Gladiator.
Nice.
And I'll take that as a no. And I'm going to walk over to the kitchen and just start cooking up some eggs, pop up in the cold box, bacon.
Oh, you can make toast because we got some bread.
We do. Out of the bag of holding my loaf.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking
Start
of
making
pets, we found Atlas's dog last night.
Oh, you did?
Oh, great.
Good news.
Yep. Yes,
You
we
also
did.
found a lot more. Do tell.
Where is Atlas?
Atlas is, I assume you know that you guys didn't get my letter, my message. No,
What
obviously
letter?
not.
Oh no, what letter?
Exactly. It's fine. It's fine.
How were you sending a letter in the middle of the night?
I
Well,
asked.
you look over, and the letters are all folded, still sitting on the table.
Oh, you mean these letters?
Yes, they were supposed to be sent out
I'm
first
gonna tear
thing this
one open.
morning.
And read what it says. Okay.
Yeah, Atlas was talking to some guards the last time I saw him.
Okay.
So went out.
Question: how detailed are the letters again?
It just says that Atlas was talking to guards, and that in that area, that general area,
Okay.
the last time I saw him, and then that I was here at this location.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I will fill in some details now that you're here. So we went
Okay.
out last night,
Mhm.
just kind of hoping, you might gain a little bit extra coin, place a couple of bets. And wouldn't you know it, run into well, has Atlas told you how he was paralyzed?
Trying to
I
remember.
believe there's been
I
some
believe
mention
that
of it, but
it was
not.
in a fight, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. Yes.
Oh, yes. He
I like flip a pan and you see like 4 eggs flying in the air and land back in the pan. Cooking the bacon.
Okay, you're lagging.
Oh yeah,
I'm just a
Roland is lagging into oblivion.
Yeah, that gentleman,
I guess.
quite the brute. Oh God, hold on. I'm good now.
You're good now.
Yes, no.
That gentleman, quite the brute. That's what I got.
Okay.
Your voice,
yeah,
not so
so-
much the video.
Yeah.
Your voice is fine. The
Hold
video
on.
is kind of. You're frozen
I
like
will
this.
try to my Wi-Fi.
Like
Actually, this is perfect. You should just.
Yeah, you were like frozen like this.
Okay. Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good now.
Yeah. So, this gentleman, if you want to call him that, Bullet, I believe is his nickname. Emphasis on was.
Really?
Yes. Huh?
Atlas killed a guy?
Atlas killed him?
No, it wasn't Atlas.
Okay. You killed him?
Can't say it was me either. fact, I'm
the
not
dog killed him.
No,
I give up.
Oh.
maybe indirectly.
His
So who?
his
All right. So
The honest
in
answer is
detail.
I don't know who killed him.
Okay. That like you don't know them
allow me to
personally, or you
elaborate.
don't know who it was.
I will elaborate.
Okay.
So
About that time,
wager-
I come over with 3 plates,
Oh,
toss them
Jesus.
down on the table.
oh,
Oh,
thank
I
you.
yeah.
motion to Scott, have a seat. Yeah.
So we were, just out trying to play some bets. Maybe
I get another small plate. Fix up.
help Atlas, figure out what he's capable of, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And we go to his local haunt, I guess near his home.
Well, what's
And
it called?
what was it called? It was Stone. No, White Bull. Stoneflyers is your shop.
I'm like, yeah, Stoneflyer. That's where you're at.
No. Okay, so it's the White. Is the White Bull?
The White Bull. Yeah.
The white.
Okay.
DM, do I recognize that name?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Like y'all, and I
Mhm.
know kind of the gist of what it is. It's kind of a shady place. Like y'all went. Okay, after the day we had, y'all went there.
Wait, was it supposed to be a shady place? I didn't know. It
Yeah.
seemed normal to me.
Well, you're kind of shady. I mean, but
Okay.
yeah.
That's fair. That's
I mean,
totally fair.
it is what it
It's
is.
fair.
I
but
can be
yes.
kind of explodey. Whether it's.
Oh, you know nothing of explosions.
I have a challenger. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Because
I
I
mean,
take a big bite of bacon and some toast. You got to try the bread, Roland. Oh my gosh.
okay, I'll take a bite of the bread.
the bread is delicious. It is.
I will pause and savor it for just a second.
And while you pause, I holler for oh God, I just forgot his name. Nesser.
You forgot.
So,
Whatever was his name.
Out of character, I've forgotten his name. Nesso?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Nesso, come get some breakfast.
Maybe I'm
He comes in and
Oh, God.
I hold out a small plate to him.
he
Yes.
walks in, and when he walks in, he still has a scowl on his face, but he sees the breakfast that you've made, and he lightens up. He brightens up a bit. And he sniffs the air, and he's like, well, this should certainly make up for the interruptions I had last night.
Well,
Rolling.
just be grateful. I'm not trying to reclaim the gold that you owe me for not sending these letters out, but that's fine. We'll ignore it.
Oh Lord,
It's fine. It's fine.
Nesso.
Just keep it,
Puts his hand up on the table where the letters are and just slides them off into the floor.
that's fine.
I'm like, it's okay. I already read mine. You're good. Nesso,
Anyway,
could you do me a favor? Could you see if you could go snag me a wand of mending, please?
Let
There
me.
used to be one kept upstairs, but I don't know if it's still there or not.
He says, yes, let me go check. In his high squeaky voice or whatever, and then he
like a
takes
crash on
his
my bed.
plate and he kind of walks out.
You know I
Okay.
could do that, right? I look at Ricard. What do you need mending?
Well, I kind of just missed being able to do it, but Roland's clothing is a bit worse for the wear.
much appreciated.
Oh.
Anyway. Oh, what were you gonna say, Scott?
It gets better?
Oh, it gets much, much worse. But yes, so we go to this bar, or the tavern, and while we're going there, we meet Bologna. Atlas felt that she would be able to help bolster our, the coin we would make. So I'm thinking, okay, fine, sure. I'll let the kid show what he's got.
Okay.
And on the way there, he explains how he became paralyzed. Talks about how this gentleman Bullet essentially sucker punched him in the back after he had already won the fight, and just kind of cracked his spine.
He had won the fight. Bullet
No,
won the fight,
Bullet had
or
won the fight.
Atlas?
Atlas was
Oh,
walking away,
Oh,
and
what
he
a-
apparently thought
Wow,
that it
that's-
was the appropriate time to punch him directly in the spine.
why? Okay, why didn't you bring all of us?
The intention of last night
I
was
thought
simply
y'all were
to
just
make
going to make a little bit of money,
that
not
was
going to get back at his old
this is
nemesis that paralyzed him.
the initial intent was that we were going to do the former, and then on the way there, I found out new information, and then we decided I let Atlas choose where he wanted to go. He said he wanted to go to the White Bull. I was like, okay, let's do that. We go there, and I shit you not. Not only is Mr. Bullet there, but he's gloating about breaking Atlas's back while having Atlas's dog on a leash
Yeah.
in the tavern. It was like the universe was saying, kick this man's ass
So
right now.
So a
And he
brawl
died,
broke out.
right?
So I set up an arrangement in which Atlas could fight this man, not knowing that it was actually Atlas because he didn't know about Atlas's situation.
Okay.
And the fight happens.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
Thinking about that. Okay, so while you're paused for a second, Atlas. So you have this guy with you now, this Gosselin character.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a quick restroom break, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
So he's just like this big dopey kind of.
Oh yeah.
Seems frumpy a little bit, but what you note, well, make a perception check real quick. Make a perception.
All right. Cool.
That being said, also, where is your first destination?
So I rolled a 6, and I'm going straight to the flaming flyer.
Are you going to flame?
The stone flyer?
Stone flyer. Okay. Dude, I'm telling you, like, in my
I wrote it
campaign,
as
the
flying stone.
flaming stone is like really messing me up because anyway.
I like the flying stone. I just keep thinking of I can't keep
So what is it? It's the
Stone
I
Flyer.
don't even remember it. You just said it. Stone flyer. Yeah, okay.
What it's called, the Stone Flyer Adventure.
So I'm headed to the stone flyer.
Now, remember too that Bologna's gone to your parents' house
Yeah.
to try and put them at ease or whatever. So there's like your parents. There was the second hideout that you guys ended up at, which was like the primary headquarters of the Harpers in Waterdeep.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's the Stone Flyers. So there are a couple different locations that had been discussed, talking about going to or whatever. So is the Stone Flyer where you would want to go? First thing?
Yeah, because I remember talking to Roland about it.
Okay.
Because I remember talking to Roland right before he left that I was like, I'll meet you. It was either something like I'll meet with you, or if I don't, you can meet me at my house.
Okay.
Type thing. But I don't know. I think I also thought about, my parents and everything. I thought about that too. But I think I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone here. Roland's only ever seen my parents once, so I think in my mind, I'm going, I should go get Roland first to go ahead and take care of the little captain situation, to let him know about it, so that way I can expedite the process. And if he gets out in enough time, then we can go meet my parents.
Okay. Cool. Very good. Okay. So, when
yeah.
you come out of the guard shop, you have Gosselin with you. And so he's just kind of chilling over your shoulder.
Mhm.
And basically, when you walk left, he goes left. When you walk right, he goes right. Right. So you're kind of looking around. It's morning time now. So the city has begun to come to life or whatever. This particular area itself is not incredibly. This is like kind of off to the side from the main roads. So you're just just outside the main road or whatever. So it's not quite as well traveled. So there still is a little bit of traffic, but not much. But you can definitely hear the noise coming from the main road, like the city has come to life, whatever. So the main road is going to have quite a few people traveling up and down, either getting to their place of business or their trades, or they're heading to the trade ward so they can open up their shops or get their mercantile stuff going on. And as you're kind of checking things out, one of the things that you notice about this Gosselin character, where he's kind of large and seemingly has an appearance of being frumpy, he is actually quite graceful on his feet. He's not stumbling any. He's not. He is navigating quite gracefully, almost as if he were a dancer at some point.
Can I ask him?
You can do whatever you want. So yeah, if you want to ask.
Like, you just seem like this beautiful type of person who, how they say some people trip, some people fall, but there is that third type of person who turns that fall into a beautiful, beautiful dance. Are you one of those?
And he says, oh yeah.
That's how he responds.
I love dancing.
I cannot wait to introduce you eventually, if I end up ever meeting up with them while you're in my presence. I can't wait to introduce you to my friend Ricard.
Oh, does he like?
I feel as if he will find your grace to be nothing but of the utmost prestigious status.
Well, I look forward to meeting him too.
Yeah. And of course, Skodrick as well. If you ever get yourself in any, trouble where, there's some wounds or something while you're, in our presence, he's got, an ability to heal, give you some healing. And then our friend our paladin, he can lay some hands on you too. You know,
Well,
just wanted to throw that out there.
really cool. I don't have any abilities like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do any of that fancy worshipping.
Who were you trained by?
I'm trained by the captain of the guard, of course. Best,
Okay.
best there is.
Okay.
If
Got
you
you.
tried to hit him, you'd probably get hit instead.
All right, let's go.
So as you decide to begin to make your way now, I imagine that you would try to call for a cart or something. So when you go to make that attempt, when you go to like hail a cart or whatever, he's like, no, Goslin is like, no, we have carts that we can travel by or whatever. So he actually walks you over to like this little side area, and in this side area there's like a small stable. It only has like 3 stalls in it, and two of the stables have horses that are kind of stabled up or whatever. And he goes over and he like pulls one of the stabled horses out and begins to work on hooking it to a cart himself.
Okay, cool.
So he does so with great precision. He's a very skillful individual in
Hey,
spite of.
Gosling,
Oh yeah.
do you like horses?
Oh yeah, they're really cool.
DM, is there any like carrots around or anything?
So you look and there is like a little bit of like hay on the ground or whatever. But you assume that the feeding time for these horses has already come and gone or whatever. So whoever was meant to feed the horses has come and gone. So there's not like horse feed or anything like that around nearby. It's just the horses by themselves with a stable and a couple of horseless carts over to the side. So,
Yeah. Do you like hay too?
what do you mean?
So I'm not laughing in character.
He's got this blank stare. Um,
So I mean, playing it, eat it, the whole round.
well, that would be ridiculous. I bet someone eating hay would be quite funny.
I don't know.
So he finishes the cart or whatever, and he climbs in and he pats the seat next to him, and he's like, "This is your spot."
Is it? Never mind.
Okay.
I'll just sit next to you, Gosling.
He waits for you to climb into the cart. Once you climb into the cart, he starts like guiding the horse down the street.
I'll put my hand around his shoulder as a friend.
And he kind of pats your hand, doing his goofy laugh or whatever, and keeps guiding the horse towards the Stoneflower shop or whatever. So, now as he begins going down the road, he says, "Where are we going exactly?"
We're going south. We're going exactly where we're going is to the dock ward.
I've been there before. All right, we'll go that way.
Probably the Way of the Dragon would be a good little highway to go down.
He says, very well. And he starts like turning the cart to take you.
I wrote down what street it was on, not in my character sheet, but
Um, so it is down south. It is on the corner of Presper and
Street of Six Casks,
yeah, I believe so. Let me see.
or was it Two Flask Alley?
Give me one second. Let me see. Hmm. For some reason, this is not pulling that up.
Well, I know where it's at either way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just tell him exactly where we need to be.
Okay. Pretty sure that was off the corner of Presper and Two Flask Alley. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it is. Up in there.
Now, also, Gosling, I do want to point out that this is best case scenario where my friend is at. I don't know for sure if he's going to be here, but just wanting to, throw out there he might not be here.
So he says to you that that's fine. He's just with you until you guys decide to retrieve him.
Okay. If your word is the law, then yeah.
And he's like, well, not my word, but I've got my.
But you'd say the captain's word is, the law to you.
Okay.
Oh, I see. So if we never send Roland back.
All right. So you do eventually make your way down to the Stoneflower shop or whatever. As you kind of pull up to the front or whatever, the smell of freshly cooked bacon and eggs fills what would be nostrils were you to have them.
Yeah.
So whatever like sensory, like olfactory sensory technology exists in your faceplate is picking up the scent of bacon, freshly cooked bacon and eggs. So as you climb out of the cart, whatever, Gosselin kind of pulls the cart over to the side of the road so it'll be out of the way. And he climbs off the cart and begins to follow you. And you walk up the pathway. As you walk up the pathway and you approach the front door kind of swings open. And it swings open on its own.
Okay, well then I'll walk in.
So Ricard, Roland, and Skodrick, you guys make a perception check.
$14.
16.
16.
So all of you guys hear the front door come open. There's like the little bell that hangs off of the top of the doorway or whatever hangs down in front of the door. So when the door swings open and like jingles, you guys hear the little bell jingle.
Did he come in as I'm telling the story about what happened?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Jeez. Oh god. Okay.
All right. So Skodrick had just said to me about the mending spell.
Oh yeah, I can.
And all that had just happened as we hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. So that's when you hear the little bell jingle or whatever. And you guys hear the sound of familiar footsteps on the stonework of the floor. It is a very particular sound that you only hear when hanging around Atlas. The sound of copper or brass clanking against and scraping against the stone floor.
Well, sounds as though we found our one of our missing members again. Same place.
Where the hell's Keidron in all this?
You don't know at this point.
He just went off praying.
Oh god.
He went on another one of those praying fits.
Gotcha.
Back up again.
He's gonna come back with a whole shield now from
That
Lathander.
very well could be. Maybe 2 swords.
Oh shit. Anyway,
smart.
Hello, anybody in here?
Come on back to the kitchen.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, hi, Atlas.
Just walk in.
When I see Atlas coming through the door, I think automatically, oh, I got something for all of us. I pull out the box.
Sorry.
Yeah, so as soon as I hear you, I didn't see Gosling yet, but I pull out the box of my sending stones. I'm like, here's one for you, Roland.
Ah,
Here's the same, because they have there's two different symbols on two different ones, right? Or there's
Right.
two
Two
of the same.
pairs. Each of the
Okay.
pair share the same symbols.
So I give Ricard the same symbol as Roland has,
oh, okay.
and I
Okay.
give
Thank you.
and I see like and I hold on to the one, and I start handing out the one to Atlas as he turns around the corner.
Okay. So you reach out or whatever. So Atlas steps through the doorway, right? Pushing aside the shiny pearlescent silken drapery that hangs in the doorway there. And he steps through the drape kind of falling close behind him only for a moment when a very large hand kind of pushes through and pushes it aside. In stepping someone bearing the appearance of city guard, who fills the doorway and steps through, and has this like goofy kind of dopey look on his face, like this smile.
Atlas,
I glance over at Nesso and just say, "Let me know if you can find that wand for me."
Atlas, who's your friend here?
Nesso
Oh,
says,
this. Sorry.
"Go ahead, Atlas."
I thought you were asking me who my friend was.
I was. Yeah.
This is my dear friend, Gosling. I'm gonna put my arm around his shoulder again.
Yeah, he's a
Do
guard.
I want to roll an insight and see if I sense anything underlying in the way he said that.
Well, Gosling standing there, which kind of helps bear
14.
kind of bear evidence to your insight check there. Gosling looks and he's like, "Well, I don't know about dear friends, seeing as how we just met. But he's a funny looking fella, isn't he?"
I like him.
It's mostly me just trying to like say it in that way to, I don't know, just show him as much respect as possible, because I don't know, I legitimately like him. It's funny.
Oh, okay.
So do I believe that Atlas legitimately likes him in the way he's talking?
Yeah,
Okay.
you get the sense that Atlas has a fondness for this particular character.
You know, guys, like at first I didn't know what to think about my friend Gosling here, but after chatting with him on the way, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Now, he's not here just to chat with us though. So Roland, here's the thing, bud. So the guard, the captain of the guard, that is, wants to speak with you because you were there at the White Bull Massacre Tavern.
You're jumping ahead, Atlas. I was in the process. Okay, so your friend, can you just ask him about quickly, just for a few
He won't.
minutes?
He follows me everywhere. This is his job. He follows me.
Out of earshot for just a minute.
So
private
It's
conversation.
fine. I'll walk outside with him.
No, just
He's supposed to come with me.
I'm not asking to leave the shop. Just step like
You ask him.
20 feet.
Did you
Would
say
you mind-
massacre?
Gosling, what do you think? What do you think, Gosling?
Godric, just hold on. We're getting good.
So Gosling is standing there, and he's Roland. You've now noticed, like after Atlas has addressed you,
Yeah.
and mentioned you or whatever, Gosling is like looking at you, like he's inspecting you. He's looking you up and down. He's trying to like he bears the appearance or gives evidence to trying to pick up your features.
She's a robot.
He looks at you or whatever, and he's like, "So you're the friend that we're looking for, huh?"
Potentially. I'm
Well,
not
Captain wants to talk to you.
The word's being used rather liberally lately. Again, if we could just have just a moment to converse in private, I'll be right with you, sir.
He says, "Go right ahead," and he just stands there and crosses his arms.
I'm gonna look at Atlas and what was your friend's name again, Atlas?
Oh, this is Goslin.
Goslin. It's a strong name. And I look at Goslin and go, please, if you don't mind stepping on the other side of the curtain. This is my family's establishment. We are in good standing. And Roland will be going nowhere
He looks.
without your knowledge.
He has a
You
look
have
of
my word.
skepticism on his face for a moment.
I'll roll a persuasion if that's all right, DM.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
He has a look of skepticism on his face, and he's like, "If I let him out of my sight, I could get in serious trouble."
That's a 12 persuasion roll.
He said, "I guess it'll be all right, seeing as he thinks we're friends and all." And
He really does seem to have a liking for you.
he
Goslin.
said, "Maybe we'll be friends one day." And kind of looks at Atlas for a moment, and he says, "But I'm gonna be right here outside, and I'm not gonna go anywhere until you come out and get me." And he
Okay.
Of course,
really
Atlas, if you don't mind.
slowly pushes the curtain open, and he's like backing out very slowly, and he like slowly like lets the curtain close. And as he's letting the curtain close, he's keeping his eyes like on, so you can like see like he's like watching you, so it's like this as the curtain is closing, and then the curtain finally closes.
And then I'll take my arm off his shoulder.
I pull Atlas over towards me and just, Atlas, friend, word you like to use. What did you tell the guards? Why am I?
I didn't tell. I told him incredibly little detail about you, but then he asked, like, "Hey, what was your friend's name?" And I said, "I can't give my friend's name out because I don't think he would like his name to be given out." But
you seem suspicious, friend.
You are suspicious.
You could have just given them any name, something.
I wasn't gonna lie. There's no way I was gonna lie.
Atlas is not the lying type, Roland, and they would find out, and that would be.
Well, to be honest with you, if I could get away with lying every single time, I would lie a lot more than I lie currently. But I don't really lie that much. Okay, and this is the thing, they got Zone of Truth and stuff like that. I mean, everybody's a liar to a certain degree.
Ricard has now seen Atlas in a new light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Atlas,
anyway,
I'm not just a goody little two shoes boy. I lied to my parents for years about what I was doing. I was like going behind their backs, boxing and stuff. So,
and from what I understand, it got you crippled.
Yeah.
And then y'all went back there last night to the same place to meet the same person, and it caused a massacre.
Yeah, that's the word.
So Roland, please finish telling your story.
As I was saying, essentially what happens is we go there. There's supposed to be just a bit of a scuffle. Atlas is supposed to show, hey, I'm better now, and I'm.
Let me go ahead and throw out there. We weren't looking for him either.
Yeah, we didn't go out looking for him, but essentially
we went out just to go play some bets, and we just so happened to meet the guy on literally the first place we went to.
But you went to a very shady place.
See,
considering the different places you go to.
It didn't seem shady to me. Okay, we're not gonna get into that. Regardless of this, we go there. It's supposed to be a quick fight. I bet the Wand of Secrets and like 500 gold.
Wow.
Yeah, it should have been a sure thing because Atlas, has fought him before. He seemingly trained with him. I'm thinking, obviously, he knows what he can handle.
Okay, but you watched the guy fight first, right? So you knew how good he was, yes?
I assumed Atlas had saw him fight, so I assumed Atlas knew what was going on because he'd been here for years.
Did y'all kill everyone?
Would you calm down, Skodrick?
Skodrick has been trying.
I'm like patting Skodrick on the back. I go, look, I've got more toast. I give him the plate of extra toast.
So what happens is, Ricard, you'll never believe this. Even though Atlas had trained in the same facility with him for how long? How long have you been training, Atlas? Months,
I've been
years?
training.
Atlas isn't in here. I thought he was outside.
No, he's here. He's here. I was just talking to him 2 seconds ago.
I thought the guy wouldn't leave without Atlas going with him. Did I misunderstand that? Out of character?
Goslin has stepped just to the other side.
I convinced him to step to the other side. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, Atlas, how long have you been fighting? training at that
I've been
facility?
training since I was like 15.
It's like 4 years.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that I've known him for 4 years, but I will say that he must have been hiding this for a very long time because I've
Hiding what?
never.
That he could
Okay.
beat your ass? He already did it one time.
So yeah, he did that one time, right? And I'm like, okay, you got a whole new body. Remember, he used to call himself what was that nickname you gave your
One
Atlas?
hit wonder.
One hit wonder.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, he's got a new body. He's not going down to one hit anymore. He's got an advantage, right?
Did
And
he
I
go
didn't.
down in one hit?
That's the thing.
He did
No,
not.
God.
He took several hits. But
Yeah, it took
but
probably.
somehow, some way, the information that this man Bullet was a barbarian just completely just wasn't
Nobody
well
knew.
known.
No one
No
didn't
one.
know. I didn't know. My mentor never knew because my mentor never told me about it.
Okay.
So
Had he never
Nobody
had
knew.
like a
That's what I'm saying,
serious
like,
fight?
this
Is that what it comes
fucking,
down
like,
to?
I
old
don't
man with a
even
fishbowl
know.
in between his legs magic act because he just like hit it for years.
Atlas
Wow.
was winning, and then suddenly this guy loses it and starts killing him in the fight. Atlas
Wow.
goes down. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
So
there
you
goes all
lost
my
one
stuff.
of the secrets. Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's where things change.
so I enter the
This
ring.
is where the massacre part comes in.
No. Okay, so I get Atlas up. You know,
I
he's
scoot
knocked
Scott
out.
up another piece of toast.
He's knocked out. I get him back up. You know, I'm just like, okay, we got to handle this situation. Now Atlas wants a rematch, of course. You know, and so we're trying to negotiate that kind of those terms for that. But Bullet's not having it. He's like, pay up right now, pay up right now. I mean, this couldn't have been longer than like a 2-minute
Just reach
conversation.
over to get Ricard's toast.
And the next thing I know, he's coming for me, trying to like grapple me or something.
I'm
So
gonna
I'm like,
Roland's toast over as well.
it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, he tries to grapple me. I evade it because I'm me, and he's calling over his buddies because he's got buddies,
Oh
And
wait,
then
but you had already handed him what you owed him?
we were in terms of negotiating a rematch. This literally lasted a 2-minute conversation. We
You
were
were
not-
negotiating, but then he grappled you. It sounded like he refused your negotiations.
Yes,
Am I right?
aggressively,
Okay.
aggressively, yes.
He aggressively refused your negotiations. Okay.
I simply evaded him, and then he calls over his great axe because he just has one of those lying around. So one
Wait,
of his buddies.
Were you being normal, or were you being?
I was being as civil as possible. I hadn't pulled a weapon.
Oh,
I
fuck.
hadn't made a threat of any kind of aggression. I simply said, "Okay, sir, I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing next," and that's it. He
I
didn't
pull out
wanna
my
wait 2
bag of
minutes.
bread.
And so as this happens,
I pass over the butter and a sharp knife.
I see him call over his great axe. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're coming for my throat. What's going on? So then we get into a little scuffle. We only knock them out. I knock him out.
Okay, all
We
right.
knock
So
out
y'all were
some of his other guys.
you
Non-lethal.
weren't trying to kill
Nothing crazy.
anybody. Okay.
I was gonna give him his stinking money, but it was like, you gotta chill out for a second, bro. You just beat the crap out of my buddy here. I'm just trying to, make sure everything's cool.
Yeah, you
So-
wanted a rematch so that maybe we could come back the next night and work
Yeah.
some better angles. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he had Atlas's dog, and
I know
that was the primary goal of the night, was trying to
Oh,
get the
yeah.
dog. And so, yeah. So then all of that happens.
Yeah, you left that
And
part
then-
out.
What, the dog?
Yeah.
So he had Atlas's
no.
dog.
Yeah,
Okay.
I told you that earlier.
He mentioned that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I would have waited to fight him if he didn't have my dog.
Yeah, Atlas was looking
I
like he
can
was about to
understand.
rage when he
Yeah,
saw
that's
the
right.
dog. It was pretty
But
bad.
then he didn't rage, and the other dude raged.
Yeah, he did.
Once he
And-
remembered the dog,
Stomped him into a
Scott
mud
just calms down.
So then, okay, we're just having a scuffle, right? Atlas decides to throw up his little sneeze thing.
A bar
you know?
brawl, right? You're having a
And-
bar brawl, effectively.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's contained. It's in like a little pit,
Okay. All right.
And he does.
I'm familiar with the place. Yeah.
He casts Fairy Fire to assist us. Bellona's even fighting with us.
Okay.
And when this happens, we can see everything. Everything's illuminated. Some of the crowd gets illuminated, and you would never believe what happened next. You really can't guess.
Is fairy fire flammable?
No, it's not
no.
flammable. It doesn't hurt. It just eliminates things that are either there or can't be seen.
Yeah, so about that, there was some random jackass just in the audience, completely invisible, and the fairy fire lit him up, just standing off in the corner somewhere.
Not
And,
Okay.
literally.
and then Atlas is like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" So I look, and I'm like, "Oh, that is suspicious." I fly over. I say, "Hey, sir or ma'am, why don't you stop moving, and we'll figure this out." Right? I wasn't doing anything crazy. I might have had a sword out, but you're invisible in a tavern staring at us.
Just
We
want to throw out there.
just blew up a government building. I mean, I'm thinking like, who the hell is this, right? So I'm just trying to make sure everything's cool. So this guy decides to cast some kind of spell on me, attempts, fails, but in doing so, drops his invisibility and tries to run out of the door. So
Mm-hmm.
then we see
You
his
recognize
face.
him?
I'll describe him now. He's a half elf.
It sounds like that was the time to flee, right? Yeah.
Well, again, I didn't know who it was. He didn't respond verbally. I wasn't trying to be aggressive, but he just, he flees, drops his own invisibility, and then like 2 seconds later, as he runs out the door, comes back in and is like, "Oh, you should have never seen my
He
face." And
turns back around pissed.
I'm like, "Who the hell? I don't even know who you are." Before we have time to think, he lobs a fireball in the middle of this room
Look to
and
Ricard.
incinerates everybody. Now, if I didn't know who this guy was, I would have assumed it was Ricard.
At that point, I step up and walk over to the cool box, get out a pitcher of ale, grab 4 mugs, come back over, set them on the table as you're continuing the story,
Oh
and
yeah.
pour
It's 10
So
a.m.
them to everybody.
so so everybody in the room, aside from like us and like some people to the north of the room, all got pretty much incinerated in like a
Yeah,
second.
yeah, that'll happen.
And I'm like, oh, this is awful. It's like a
when he
hellscape.
when he mentions
All right, so
incinerated, I want to look over at Atlas, see if I notice any damage.
so
Okay.
before you continue any further, Roland,
Yeah.
let's just touch for a moment.
hmm
So I'm at which point did you get away alive?
When I
Is
shot
is
him in the head
Bologna
with an
okay?
arrow. Yeah, Bologna's fine.
So one
Atlas is
Everybody's
fireball
fine.
okay
goes
except for
off.
regular civilians.
I assume the building lights afire, people screaming and
Yeah.
dead.
I don't. There were some screams, but they were quick and then gone.
Yeah, yeah.
The building collapsed on top of me, but luckily I was able to cast aid enough time to where I could keep my health points up.
You see, Ricard's shoulders have now kind of dropped.
Yeah. So
Okay.
his body's still in there,
So Scott,
probably
you're
cooked.
freaking out Atlas. He has definitely sustained some damage.
Yeah.
Y'all
is
do
not
me a
looking
favor.
great.
I'll let you continue the story, but next time y'all go off like that, we had just got done with a rather daring mission. Let's put it that way. Please don't go off like that by yourselves again.
Well, again,
I
I have
I,
no
I
idea who the hell this
understand.
gentleman is
Look.
because
I get it. I know. Just we got to stick together right now, y'all. We've got enemies in the city. We've got enemies in the cult of the dragon. We've got enemies from our past. We
Well,
got to
you know what?
stick
I
together.
agree. Why don't we just we'll lay low. I think that maybe we should lay low for a while until the dragon cult is ripped
oh,
from the city, weeded out.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I don't know who the fuck this guy
No,
is, and I'm like,
is you
he
you shot him and he died?
he died. I shot him good. I shot him good.
The
Is it?
building also
Did you,
collapsed on him.
Well, yeah, he after he fell, the building would have fallen on top of him and probably got cooked. But he'd be the guy with the 2 arrows in him.
do you think he was cult of the dragon? Do you think he was?
Didn't really say anything about being close to the dragon. He just didn't want us to see his face, which makes me think he's probably someone of great importance, of
All right.
someone who would have a noteworthy face. but can't really ask anyone in the tavern if they recognize him because they're all dead.
Is everybody in the tavern dead now?
Everyone
Except
in
for
that
y'all?
section, except for the monk that I saved.
Okay, that's good.
Who's to say? I don't know if he knows who he is. But I mean, I'm thinking maybe if I give the highlighted description of him, maybe she knows.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's dead as hell. So, I mean, if you guys want to collect the body, again, I can
We
probably
can.
figure out which one it is because you
Uh,
still have arrowheads in them. But
I mean,
the
I'd like to talk
highlighter.
to anybody that was alive that was there and see if they saw him. Did you say you could give a?
I can probably give a rough description. He's right in front of me.
Okay. Oh, geez, y'all.
But yeah, that place is gone. It's gone.
Wasn't the best place to frequent in the city.
Again, it seemed like a decent place. I mean, Atlas, right? I don't know.
The White Bull Tavern, I've been fighting there for years. It's always been a pretty good establishment. It's not too shady. I mean, if we would have went to what is it? It's the cistern, well, Sally's Cistern, I think it's called. Yeah, disgusting. We almost went there. I mean, you almost talked me into it, Roland. We could have made a
Sounds like
little
that
bit more
would have been a
money.
better choice.
Well, considering our circumstance of luck here.
Hindsight is 2020. I mean, you could go outside right now and get shot in the head, and like, well, I probably could have gone out the back door. Yes, but how would you have known that you?
Well,
yeah, I mean, if I had known that Leo the Bullet Lambert were in there, then
With the
I would have
dog?
just waited for another night. Now with the dog, that's a different story. I probably would have went in
Actively
there.
talking shit about paralyzing you.
Yeah.
Like, I
The
understand.
thing is, he beat me once, but I thought that I stood a pretty good chance, especially in the beginning of that fight.
Also, Atlas tried to
I
save
didn't
him.
go into it overconfident. Well,
Yeah.
I completely appreciate you going for me there. The main reason I wanted to save him is to rematch him.
Oh, I thought he was trying to actually save his life.
I mean, I am a good person. I don't
Right.
want to just,
Either one works. I don't care.
I mean, if I had the choice of leaving him in the flames or just walking away and leaving him in the flames, or pulling him out, I'd probably just pull him out.
How bad was it? Could he be brought back, or?
I mean, he wasn't turned into ashes as far as I know.
Not at the time, but we left the body in there.
I commanded my Soul Defender to pull him out, so it kept pulling him out, but he was just, dead.
I look over at Scodrick and I go, given the normal, like if somebody had gotten to him quickly, maybe, but
I think that's like a minute. Revive is like a minute.
yeah, at
Yeah,
this
like-
point, it would be very expensive.
It was a mess.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what could be comparable?
So you brought up the High Lady, and the High Lady actually gave us a little mission to do.
Another mission.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what's this mission?
We gotta go assist with the cleanup of the embassy we blew up.
Oh, Jesus.
Possibly the White Bull Tavern.
Every time I just keep forgetting about that. So many
Well,
fireballs in one night.
I will say this to you guys. There is one thing that I do want to pick up from the White Bull Tavern. Just a little souvenir. So,
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah.
Didn't you say it was burnt to the ground?
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh, well, obviously there's going to be, some metal left here and there. It might not have been burned up too bad. If there's any way that I could salvage Leo's great axe, I would like to have that greatly.
Oh.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind going there. Maybe we could salvage the dead body of the.
We all have
person.
mending.
Well, I don't.
All right, and I start mending Roland's clothes.
Well, yeah, me and Scott have it.
I appreciate that, friend.
No problem.
Don't too, Ricard, during this, Niso hasn't come back down yet. So he's
He's probably knocked out.
Oh, Jesus.
He's not come back down yet. So he's taking some time. Either he's gotten caught up with something, or
He doesn't want to be part of it anymore.
Whatever you do, don't drink the wine here, or whatever the hell I drunk.
What did you drink?
I don't know. It was some bottle of something.
Do you have the
It,
bottle?
it
Is it
should
still
be
incredibly
somewhere
large?
around here. I'm not exactly sure where.
There's the bottle. The bottle's kind of like laying in the floor next to where you were sleeping. It's like up against the wall or whatever.
You mind if I look at it? What is it?
Sure.
Do I know what it is?
Yeah. So you take a look at it or whatever, and it's got potion -ish on it, and that's all it says on the front or whatever. But you're familiar, so there was a small period where there were some potions that were concocted just mainly out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that Roland has been given one of these, there was definitely an air of mischievousness that had been present when one of these had been offered. Typically, these things only get offered to people who it's like the equivalent of spitting in someone's food at a restaurant.
Yeah. Okay, so I look at Roland and Atlas and Skondrick each. Okay, I'm gonna put the bottle in the bag of holding. I'm
gonna insight check that because I don't know why he would want to hold on to that. A little weird.
Okay. Roll an insight.
8. Never mind.
Well, that was a potion made by Ishkade, my teacher. So okay, you're still alive, so that's good.
Why the hell would he give me a potion? I asked for alcohol.
Well, are you overly tired? Did you get your rest in the short time that you had?
I mean,
It's
yes.
good that he's still alive.
But I'm gonna ignore that for a second. But
piece of advice: don't ever break in this building, no matter what. I understand. You're alive. That's what I said. You're alive. Don't ever try and break in this building.
Fellas,
that goes for any of us. Oh, go ahead.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Oh.
I feel really bad. I didn't know how late you guys were wanting to play until like 1 or whatever.
So with that, is there anybody else that needs to jump out also? It is 12. It's going on 12:15 essentially.
I hate to jump on you at such like a random time, but
yeah, no worries, man. Okay, so Ricard, you're giving information about that. You're telling about that. So what we will, so let's see. We'll just mark this. If it's cool with you guys, I think that this is going to be a good stopping place.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody's kind of sitting around chit-chatting. Ricard, you're about to fill them in about some of the circumstances with the shop.
Yep.
And why they shouldn't break into it. And then...
Don't ever break in the shop. That's the first words that come out my mouth first.
And you guys are having breakfast. Kidron is still not present. So, interestingly enough,
he's our Ashley Johnson.
Wow.
Oh man. Cool. So we'll mark this as our stopping point for the evening. And pick up back here next time. So for those of you on Twitch who have joined in to watch our Twitch stream, we certainly appreciate you guys. We hope that you've enjoyed this time as much as we have. I know, I definitely have a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
4 of us are back together.
Had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I know. My gosh. Now we're all back together.
Yeah.
Love it.
And we all have sending stones.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're back in the swing of things and it'll be normal again. So we'll be back on Friday, I hope. As long as nothing crazy comes up. So everybody have a wonderful evening. Thanks again for joining us on this session of D&D, playing through Horde of the Dragon Queen, the 5e module. This is brought to you by Battlecry or Die. check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and we stream video games all the time. So if you guys are gamers, check us out this week.
We are.
All right.
We are gamers.
Battle cry or
Have a good one, Mike.
As Kidron would say, battle cry or die.
Yeah.
Or pray.
Cry or
Oh, God.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Peace.